Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think we all can agree that Governor Corbett just delivered a very, very fine budget speech. And that's going to be a tough act to follow, but I will do my best. Being a member of this General Assembly is a great privilege that comes with great responsibility. In this chamber, we are responsible for representing the people and the will of the people in policies we pursue and the priorities we set. Today represents the first day of what normally is a several-month process. Starting today, the members of this General Assembly, Republicans and Democrats, will take a close look at this budget so we can better understand the many layers of this proposal. As we approached the start of this process, we knew very well that we were faced with many challenges. We knew that this year we were going to have to make a significant payment to our pension systems to meet a growing pension liability. We knew that an ill-conceived and poorly executed rollout of the Affordable Care Act would cost the state $220 million more in mandated spending obligations from the federal government. Then, as we got closer to this day, we learned that the federal government again was decreasing Pennsylvania by a total of $325 million in federal medical assistance percentage, better known as FMAP, for important programs in the Department of Public Welfare, like outpatient services and the majority of preventive services for those in need. We've been through this before. Even further adding to our challenges, our current economic indicators suggesting the economy may not be quite ready to grow at the rate we would have hoped for as we start to turn the corner of the Great Recession. Clearly, the list of challenges is long and substantial, which creates a significant level of uncertainty as we move through the next several months. Despite these challenges, there is a statement made in the priorities identified in the governor's budget, this blueprint. At first glance, I think the people of Pennsylvania will applaud the $363 million increase for basic education. I believe the residents of this state, especially those that have kids in our state universities and colleges, will appreciate the $25 million for a new Ready to Succeed scholarship program. That proposal sounds an awful lot like a similar piece of legislation introduced by Representative Quinn. I know the increase in special ed funding brings a smile to Representative Bernie O'Neill's $20 million increase. I would also suspect that Representative Mert is happy to hear, and Representative Ellis is happy to hear, the governor's proposal for $24 million to add additional services for 1,250 individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism. I know that my good friends, Representative Marsico from Dauphin County and Representative Calderon, who have both been vocal supporters supporting the state police, will glad to see the inclusion of funds to provide for 4 state trooper cadet classes next year. I too support those efforts in principle, and I think their inclusion in this blueprint reaffirms that the priorities of state government are and always will be educating the residents of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, ensuring public safety, and providing for a safety social net for those who need it the most. Conceptually, we must work towards these goals, and we must work together. But when we are working to achieve these goals, we must learn from the failed tactics of Washington, D.C., and make sure the promises we make today are reasonable, achievable, and most important, sustainable. The residents of Pennsylvania should also know that these are parts of this proposal that need to be added, proposals that have been eliminated from last year's budget. For example, I'm sure Representative Benninghoff was disappointed when he saw epilepsy funding was eliminated. And Representative Mao disappointed regarding Tourette syndrome. And I certainly suspect Representative Marr and Representative Payne will again want to see funding for biotechnology research. These are line items that are very important to this General Assembly and for our constituents. Representative Marr talks about what this line item did for a Marine in combat and advancing new treatments for brain cancer. Representative Marty Kauser has been a champion for the hardwood industry in the Northwest. We need to fill this gap. We cannot eliminate that funding. Representative Deb Kula from Fayette County and her advocacy for heritage parks. We need to look at that. And I can't forget Representative Mark Mustio's advocacy to develop technology that's unfolding in Western Pennsylvania by advocating for the state supercomputer. Collectively, the members of the General Assembly have made it clear that all the initiatives I just mentioned serve an important role in this Commonwealth. And I had hoped that they would have been included in the governor's budget. But we will work like we have always done to get them back in the budget and work with the governor in a bipartisan manner to put together a sustainable and affordable budget. As we do our work over the next several months, we need to look at all the short-term budget strategies contained in this budget and see if they are proposals that can be realistically and reliably adopted and be confident that they can remain in the budget for years to come. I thought the governor has done a remarkable job over the 3 years he's been in office, considering the economic conditions that existed in this Commonwealth when he was sworn in. As elected officials, we have the duty to balance very important priorities and variables, which at times can conflict with one another. I look forward to the robust schedule of budget hearings that will begin next week. Those hearings will allow members of this General Assembly and the public to fully digest all the details contained in the governor's proposal. It is incumbent upon us, the General Assembly, to take a comprehensive look at this budget and allow the residents of Pennsylvania to weigh in on those priorities, as well as the strategies outlined in the proposed spending plan. I'm looking forward to working with Chairman Mark Kozik and the Appropriations Committee, as well as each and every one of you in this General Assembly, in putting, once again, an on-time budget for this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.